Hello everybody. So I wanted to do a quick demonstration of a unit that I just picked up for my band to use. I wanted to not only just try it out to make sure it was going to work, but do so in a way where whether or not I keep it, you could hear what this unit sounds like. I haven't really heard too many sort of direct signals for the SLX-D wireless system. This is the SM58 handheld transmitter. I'm also using one of the, I believe it's the SLX-1, I think is the name of it, which is the wireless body pack, whether you're using a headset mic or a instrument cable like I am now. The biggest reason why I wanted to test this wasn't even necessarily because I didn't know if it would sound good. I mean, I think the BLX series sounds fine for most of my purposes, but as a digital system, I wanted to make sure that the latency wasn't going to be too much. On the website, it's listed as 3.2 milliseconds, something like that, which theoretically is not too bad. But we are also running through a digital mixer, the Behringer X32, which adds, another millisecond of latency. And we're also just running through my in-ear rack unit, which is the CAD GLX IEM4. I think I got that right. I actually just picked that up as well, and I'm still researching every day to figure out if it's analog or digital. I'm going to have to just reach out to them and ask because I can't seem to find it. Now, I did actually, using a Zoom recorder, do a latency test where I just plugged an SM58 into one of the XLRs and then actually ran out of the in-ear unit into the other XLR just to see what my total sort of, into the mic, into my ears latency was. And it was on the middle to low side of 4 seconds. I would say somewhere around 4.5. It wasn't 5, but it was more than 4. So to describe the feeling of playing into my in-ears, it doesn't sound like it's two different sounds. Like I can talk right now and it's not messing me up in any way. When you start thinking about it though, it starts to feel a little spongy, if that makes sense. If you've ever played through a guitar amp that didn't really have that great of response, or if you've, used a guitar wireless that didn't really have that low of latency, you probably know what I'm talking about, where it seems like it's in time. That was gross. But there's something about it that doesn't feel quite as responsive. I can still play with it, but there's just something sort of not quite as tight about it. That's how I would describe it. So all of this audio is being recorded through the wireless stuff onto my gig rig, which has an X32 in it, onto an SD card. And the crazy thing is I'm in my basement and the X32 is actually in my living room, up the stairs through a room that way. So far I haven't really had any cutouts, which is cool. I'm going to do a little demonstration and see if this is something that we can use latency wise. All right, let's hear how this thing sounds. Could have a steam train if you just lay down your track. You could have an aeroplane flying if you bring your blue sky back. All you do is call me, I'll be anything you need. You could have a Big Dipper going up and down around the bend. You could have a bumper car bumping. Its amusement never ends. I wanna be your sledgehammer. This isn't gonna happen today, but that's okay. Why don't you call my name? A sledgehammer. This could be my testimony. So biggest thing that I noticed, once I stopped actually thinking about the latency, like once something happened musically where I was like, I didn't notice it. So unless you're sitting there really trying to sort of time out while I pluck, and then I hear this a moment later. You're not really going to notice it unless you're sitting there trying to hear it. As I said, if you let your mind sort of start thinking about the latency, it can feel a little bit spongy, but it's not going to be so much that it's going to like jam your speech or anything. You can't actually hear multiple plucks. Like if I just go, I can't hear them as multiple plucks. It just sounds like one that kind of takes a second to like bloom up into the headphones, if that makes sense. It's really not that big of a deal. So I think latency wise, this could be fine. It just takes a second to get used to. So there you go. I hope this helps. As I said, I haven't really heard any demonstrations of the direct signal from the SLX-D system. So I figured since I got some of them and I was trying them out, I would put a video together to hopefully give somebody some useful information. You can find the tech specs anywhere, but if you have any questions about the actual sort of usability of this, let me know. I did also try it with a monitor, which I'm pointing to, but you can't see, so I don't know why I'm pointing to it. It didn't really feel any different than using like an old digital mixer before they got the latency super low. As I said, I clocked the latency at like 4.3, 4.5 milliseconds from mic to headphones. So if you're thinking about some of the other cheap like 2.4 gigahertz units, this whole round trip is going to have less latency than many of those just from the transmitter to the receiver. So as I said, let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this was useful. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you next time.